Welcome to the Great Basin Smoke Dispersion Briefing for Friday, April 13th. This is Gina McGuire. Over the last 2 weeks, we've seen precipitation targeting the northern half to two-thirds of the Great Basin, and this precipitation has been well above normal over parts of California into western and northern Nevada, and near to just above normal over central Idaho into eastern Idaho and Wyoming. We've also seen this similar trend really over the last month, where above normal precipitation has occurred over the northern half of the Great Basin, and well below normal, if any, precipitation over southern areas. If we look at the snowfall over the last 72 hours, we've had new snowfall over the higher terrain of Idaho and Wyoming and down into the central Utah mountains. The highest amounts have been over a foot over parts of Idaho and Wyoming, and generally 6 inches to near a foot or more localized in the central Utah mountains. The Sierra and also northeast Nevada has also seen some lighter amounts. Looking at the snow depth, we still have good snow depth across central Idaho into Wyoming, where the snowpack is near to just above normal still. However, further south across the higher terrain of Utah, Nevada, and into the Sierra Nevada, the snowpack still remains between about 40 and 60% of normal. The satellite loop from this morning shows this trough of low pressure that has been moving across the Great Basin over the last day or so is now located over eastern Utah and approaching Colorado and New Mexico. We still will have some gusty winds to deal with today across the eastern half of the Great Basin and some lighter showers, but most of the heavier precipitation is moving off to the east. We will see another storm system off the west coast moving in later into the weekend. However, we will see a day or two of drying as this weak ridge of high pressure moves in for the next 24 to 36 hours. Now looking at the weather pattern for later today, that area of low pressure moves further east of the Rockies with a weak ridge of high pressure moving in across the Great Basin, bringing drier and warmer weather to the area. We still may have a few areas of cloud cover up across central Idaho, but most of the precipitation up north will hold off until Saturday. We will still have good dispersion over the eastern half of the Great Basin with those gusty north to northwest winds. However, dispersion will be decreasing as that ridge moves in with lighter wind flow over the Sierra into western Nevada. Looking at the transport winds today, you can see those gusty north to northwest winds, again continuing across Utah, the Arizona Strip, Wyoming, and even parts of eastern Nevada into southern Idaho. Wind gusts could exceed 40 or 50 miles per hour today, especially near and east of the central Utah mountains. However, we'll still have some stronger winds up across northwest Utah as well. Much lighter wind flow again under that ridge of high pressure in the far west. Mixing heights will remain very high over the eastern half of the area and will be decreasing temporarily over western areas. As we move into Saturday, that ridge of high pressure moves over the Great Basin. We will have some cloud cover moving up across the top of the ridge and also possibly some showers up across Idaho and Wyoming. However, the rest of the Great Basin will remain dry and warm. Dispersion will remain relatively good in the north as we see some of those breezing westerly winds. However, will be decreasing across much of Nevada, Utah, and the Arizona Strip under that ridge. As we look at the wind flow and transport winds on Saturday, you can see the stronger winds are up north, but even so, west to southwest winds will only be gusting in the teens to 20s, so much lighter than what we've seen recently, with very light winds as you move further south. Mixing heights will remain moderate to good across the region. As we move into Sunday, a much deeper trough of low pressure off the west coast starts to push into the region. This will allow winds to increase significantly and temperatures to drop slightly, along with starting to bring that cloud cover across the Great Basin, but most of the showers will be holding off until Sunday night into Monday. Therefore, dispersion as that trough moves in will be good area-wide. As we look at the winds on Sunday, you can see the stronger winds out ahead of that trough of low pressure, especially across Nevada, with the strongest winds in the Sierra and far western Nevada, where southwest to southerly winds will be gusting over 50 miles per hour. So another strong wind event really pushing in across the area out ahead of this area of low pressure. Further east winds will be increasing over Utah as well, but still will remain generally between about 20 and 25 miles per hour. Mixing heights will also remain high across the region. As we look at the forecast clearing index for Utah, today good high clearing indices obviously across Utah with those stronger winds, and then we'll see a significant decrease on Saturday as winds decrease. However, clearing indices will again be peaking on Sunday as those winds start to increase, with really strong winds expected on Monday. Looking at the overall forecast amount of precipitation over the next few days, again, generally some lighter amounts to moderate amounts over the central Idaho mountains with this system moving in on Saturday. And then as we move towards Sunday and into Monday is where that precipitation will really start to move into the Sierra and push into Nevada. As we move into early next week, again, that strong trough of low pressure moves in off the west coast. And Monday is where we'll see some of our heavier precipitation at times. Also very cold temperatures again, bringing those snow levels down to valley floors across the Sierra into all of the northern half of Nevada and into Idaho on Monday. Strong winds also will be pushing eastward across the Great Basin and will really enhance on Monday. We could see wind gusts across Utah, parts of the Arizona Strip, maybe even southern and eastern Nevada, increase to above 50 or 60 miles per hour or even higher in some areas. So we will keep an eye on this, but we could see a very strong wind event on Monday across the southern and eastern half of the Great Basin. Dispersion obviously quite good as this system moves through. So we move into Tuesday, the trough swings eastward, pushing that precipitation over into the Rocky Mountain area. With drier conditions across much of the Great Basin by Tuesday, we could still have some lingering showers early Tuesday. However, again, by Tuesday afternoon, we'll see drier conditions. Dispersion is still quite good over the eastern half of the area as that system exits, but will be decreasing over southern and western areas. As we move into Wednesday and Thursday, this very progressive pattern, where storms move through every couple of days, will continue through next week. The next trough of low pressure moves in on Wednesday, Thursday, again pushing some stronger winds, or at least gusty winds, into the western side of the area on Wednesday, along with some increasing showers and clouds. Again, good dispersion with this continued progressive pattern across the Great Basin. That trough moves through the area, or moves at least into the central areas of the Great Basin by Thursday, again cooling temperatures and bringing better chances of precipitation with good dispersion. Looking at the overall forecast amount of precipitation from Monday through only Wednesday morning, and you can see general precipitation over the northern half of the Great Basin with heavier amounts into central Idaho. However, as we move through the day on Wednesday and Thursday, we could see some of these amounts increase. Looking at the 8 to 14 day outlook, this takes us into the last week of April, still below normal temperatures for really much of the Great Basin, and above normal precipitation continuing over the northern half of the area as those areas of low pressure continue to move through. We'll probably be looking into May before we see a drier and warmer pattern emerge. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back on Monday for the latest updates.